Welcome to a glimpse into the moment. Right now, I am sitting in front of a lake in my car so I can record, watching two of my kiddos on kayaks way over by the dam. To see my children, my two youngest children, working together and feeling so confident and secure that they are able to take off as the rain is kind of moving in. So you might even hear rain hitting my car at some point. But to watch these two kids go out into the world, with my watchful eye, but I'm honestly, I'm quite a ways away from them, and they are plenty old enough to be handling kayaks on a lake just fine. But it gives me an amazing feeling to know the hard work that I have put in on these kids and myself on healing. Their ability to be, well, let's just get real, not having suicidal thoughts, not having drugs and alcohol leading in their life, in their decision making, being able to have real, honest conversations. Fall into a few traps that kids do, but for the most part, we've broken major individual harming practices in this house, in this life, in my family. My kids were 2 years ago, they were in a really dangerous space. And I, as a parent, needed to get real about that. Get real about their healing. I've talked about it a ton. We're not going to talk about that today, but just for any of you out there wondering why I share all that I share. Well, first of all, fuck you. And second, if you think that your family is immune to self-harm, suicidal ideation, drugs, alcohol, shame, judgment, abuse, manipulation, control, infidelity, the list could go on a million items deep. It doesn't matter the item. God, what matters is that if you live in this plateau, this glassy, icy plateau where none of those things happen in your family, well, kudos to you if you're in therapy and you're doing all the hard work like I'm doing, so that if those things pop up, crop up, seep in, you have a path out, a path to talk about them. But for the most of you, you're not doing that fucking hard work, are you? You're just sitting there going, oh, how could she talk about these things? They're just so terrible. They're so insidious. Yeah. It sounds terrible to you because you haven't dealt with the fucking shit in your closet. So fuck off. This is going to be a fun podcast. If you're not up for a little Nita realism, click it off right now. Unsubscribe. Don't share. Go unfollow my pages. Don't ever read another blog because I'm absolutely wore out with people who are, I know so many people with children in crisis. Oh, I don't know why my child's having suicidal thoughts. Well, fucking A, look in the goddamn mirror. I'm done. I'm wore out. I am wore out. It is quite possibly if I get approached by one more person today that says, I can't imagine how you share what you share. I can't imagine that. I just don't understand it. I don't really like it. I don't like this about you. I'm going to throat punch you. Okay? Keep it to yourself. Your opinion is your opinion. It isn't mine. And today I had a really good lesson in getting people, identifying when people have an opinion versus when they have conversation that they need to have with you, and what to do with people's opinions. Identify it and push it right back on them. Here is something little lesson for all of us learning. Because I realized yesterday, that I have a lot of work to do around, one, my trauma brain, which we all know. I've been pretty open about that. But two, identifying controlling, manipulative, abusive behaviors from new people. Okay? From new people. People that I have a microscopic level of a relationship with. I need to identify those behaviors. I suppose, like in that business world, in that that whole world of, I don't know, life. Anyway, I suppose you could maybe look at them as red flags, but really, this isn't somebody I'm going to have any kind of a deep level or working relationship with. So I just need to learn to identify bad behavior and move on from it. So here is something that when you identify somebody's opinion of you, so if somebody approaches and they're like, I don't know, they just start giving you opinion. So here was one recently of me. I don't really understand / I don't really like this about you. So instead of me listening, like trying to calm my trauma brain and just listening and taking that upon myself, never really getting fully upset or irritated about it until now that I've learned like how incredibly rude that was, to just push back on the person and say, are you okay? Because there's usually something wrong when someone comes out with something hurtful like that to someone else who never asked for the opinion. So I'm really just wondering if you're okay. Is there something you need to talk about? And then be silent. Give them space. Give them time to feel the uncomfortableness. Because their opinion of you, of your whatever it may be, is none of your business. It isn't. Here's another one. I love this one. I wrote it down. So you listen to the opinion, maybe give it pause for a second, and then ask them this. Was that opinion for you or for me? And then see what their answer is. Just pause. I actually have notes here. I have notes in front of me because I had to take notes. It was like a studious exercise today working through this. And again, in the moment, it didn't really hit me how rude this was. Now, a day later, when I realize all of the things in motion when this person started this conversation with me, they had the upper hand the entire time. There was actually somebody who's very adversary to me came into the conversation. So I felt incredibly vulnerable. I felt like, honestly, pretty set up. It was weird. And I mean weird, really like weird. Not weird, what's another word for it, but like this was a weird thing for this person who I would have considered a quasi-ally. Somebody who's rowing the same direction as me, who wants the same things as me, wants good things. But now I don't know. And it doesn't really matter. I know this person challenged everything about me in just a couple sentences. I don't understand about you why you don't just say no. / like, right? So, there's those moments where like sometimes you have memories of something happening and it's literally like a movie ingrained in your brain, right? You can see everything like crystal clear and you can relive it. You could go forward and rewind and you can dial into an exact second of it. You can kind of manipulate it around so you can see everything. But then there are these other memories where so much is thrown on you in such a short time, and you're kind of dog paddling to stay alive, to stay above water, and to not get sucked into the swirl that you start to feel. So you're dog paddling, and you start to feel like, oh, the water's gone. Now I'm just in mud. I'm trying to climb the muddy slope. I'm getting all muddy. Just focus on one thing. Focus on one thing. So when you step away from it, when it's over, the whole memory of it is really muddy, gray, and not very clear. And you feel like a storm hit. That's what happened to me. So when I look back on this and I try to remember exactly between I don't understand and I don't like, all I can do is put a slash between understand / like. Because I heard both. And it all was about me. So when you approach somebody and you're just telling them flat out, I just don't understand this. I don't like this about you. There's nothing nice in that. You're not trying to learn. You're not trying to have a conversation. You're judging. You're shaming. You're trying to put me in my place. And I'll tell you what, my motherfucking place is right out in the middle with a great big fucking sword busting through every stigma that gets put in front of me. Because I will not be silenced anymore. I won't. Find it disgusting. There's a little bit of me that's so incredibly irritated. And there's a little bit of me that just wants to cry right now. I'm not giving in to either of those because the work that I do is valuable and important. People need a safe place to be whoever they are. I will not second guess that. I will not walk away from that, no matter how uncomfortable it makes people who hide. And any time that you are telling other people, I don't understand your feelings, what you're really saying is I'm too uncomfortable with what you're saying, then I'm unwilling to look at myself as to why I'm uncomfortable. When you go and project on other people, that's entirely about you. That whole thing had very little to do with Nita. Let's take a couple deep breaths. Right now, I'm picturing my sweet sister-in-law, Lori, who is absolutely a godsend and a blessing in my life. And when she listens to these, she's just shared that they help her, and she will sometimes do the breathing with me. I have different people who message me and say they do the breathing with me. So every now and then, let's throw a little breathing in. And right now, I feel a little like clunky. So let's do a little breathing. I feel better. Stick with me. We're going to come back on the other side of the break. We'll talk a little bit more about what to do with people's opinions. Hi. Welcome back to A Glimpse into the Moment. Thanks for sticking with me through the break. Did you continue your breathing? I'll be honest, I did not. I'm still sitting at the lake and I'm watching my kiddos. They docked, and I think that my daughter is out exploring, looking for treasures because she is a phenomenal treasure hunter, and he is fishing. God help them both if he catches anything, because she is also a vegetarian. So she will get super mad at him if he catches anything, which I think would be a good thing for them to work through. Let's go back to our conversation that we were having before the break. Well, my passionate conversation. I feel very passionate about this because we don't mind our own business enough in this world. We don't. You're going to hear me taking my glasses off and on a ton, and it just is what it is. So, that's what that noise is. If you are putting your thoughts, your actions, stepping over that line into other people's lives, you really need to step back. This is to everybody. This is to myself included. Step back and say, why? Why am I doing this? Do I have a right to do this first? If there's risk of bodily harm to somebody in my vicinity, yeah, I have a right, right? I have a right to make sure that the people within my vicinity are safe and sound. That is actually, do have that right, because anything could escalate to a critical level at any moment. So, that's just my years of Kung Fu training kicking in there. So, but for the most part, no, I really don't. I really don't have a right to go around giving my opinion. Even when your opinion is solicited, think twice. Really, think twice. Do I need to give this opinion? Is it going to benefit anybody but me? Why do I need to give it? What's going to be fulfilled in the other person by me giving this opinion? Better yet, live by this golden standard. What's going to be fulfilled in me by giving this opinion? Do I need to be fulfilled at this other person's expense? Do you really? Because if you do, get your fucking ass to therapy. That's just wrong. You don't need to get your bucket filled by taking away from other people. You don't get to do that. If you're listening to this podcast and you think I'm wrong, challenge me. Challenge me. I'll have you on as a guest. I will have you on as a guest, and we will have a conversation about you proving to me you're right to give somebody hurtful opinions. That'd be a fun conversation. I hope somebody, if somebody is upside down in their healing, upside down in their non-healing, I would love that opportunity. Heck, I'll hook you up with my friend John. You don't even have to talk to me. We have got to start being kinder to the entire circle around us. Just because somebody doesn't understand you, or you do not understand somebody else, does not make you right. In fact, what if we just let go of being right? What if we lived our life the best that we can to benefit ourselves and the people around us? What about that? You're right, I'm wrong. I'm right, you're wrong. Doesn't really work that way. Your need to be right is directly related to the trauma you haven't faced. Let me say it again. Your need to be right is directly related to the trauma you haven't faced. Powerful thought. Today I was looking through, let me see if I can find it here because I got to go on my same little phone I'm recording on. I was looking through my Instagram feed, and I follow a gal. I can't think of the name of her page, but she's huge, Manifestation Babe, and I love her stuff. I do. I think that she has done a lot of trauma work, of her own trauma work. She is highly in tune with herself. She's really just somebody I enjoy the work that she produces. So today I saw this, and I'm going to read this to you. It went along with some photos that I think her husband took of her in Greece on a recent trip, and she's just got her dress flowing all around, and she's talking about the scene in which she got the courage to take these photos. And here's her words: caring what others think of me, and then realizing that everyone is so concerned with themselves. No one is actually thinking about you for more than a couple of seconds. Their judgments of you don't even last a full minute in their own minds because they are immediately consumed with their own lives. Yet we change so much about ourselves and limit ourselves of what we're capable of over the few seconds that we live in someone else's mind. That to me is insanity. And I had to come to this realization many times. I don't live a conventional life. I have humongous goals. Even my big dreaming friends are impressed. And I don't share the same beliefs as most of society. So this pattern runs deep from me, for me. But I have removed so many layers so far and will continue to. Essentially, it went on to say that a decade ago, 5 years ago, she would not have had the courage for her husband to take these photos of her. There's 100 people up there, right? And they did this lovely little photo shoot. But this time around, this person who's done the hard work on herself, she did it. She did the great poses. He took the beautiful photos, and there's 100 people gawking for a moment in time. For a split second, there's 100 people giving a fuck. They don't really care. They went on about their day within seconds, forgot all about her, or laughed at her over dinner. Who cares? Probably some of them even jealous and envious of her courage. But she's absolutely right. Just like what happened to me. If I had allowed that person, if I had given that person the right for their opinion, understand/like, to consume me, who would that have hurt? Him? Or her? The person who did this? Or me? Who's still thinking about it? It's over 24 hours later. And while at the moment, because I was so busy, so tired, and again, so busy in public with lots of things happening, I didn't have time to really even dissect it or think about it or learn from it. And what I did was fine. It wasn't really how I would handle it now with some learning under my belt. But that person, they're fine. Because I didn't, at the beginning, remember I taught you, we talked about how you could push that back on them. I didn't push it back on them. But by God, next time I'm going to push it back on them so that they think about their actions more than I think about my right to simply be me. About my right to be me. Your right to be you. You have the right to be you. We're going to take a break. I'm going to come back in just a moment. I've got a sweet little kiddo got out of her boat and she's almost at my car. So I'm going to have some mom time and I'll be back to check on you guys in a moment. We'll finish up our conversation. Welcome back to A Glimpse into the Moment. Well, my daughter came, got snacks and beverages, iced tea, for her and her brother. And back off to the lakeside she went. Climbed back in her kayak and went up the side. I suppose it would be like a little mini estuary to find her brother who is fishing. And that simple act makes me more blessed for the hard work of insisting on therapy, the hard work of loading up 2 kayaks in an SUV without a trailer, latching them down and driving 35 minutes away. How blessed are we, though, that we have a lake within 35 minutes that they can kayak on. To the left of me is a family. I had to move my car away, like multiple spaces away at the lake, like as far as I could away because they were so loud with all my windows up. And I'm trying to get my head into the right space to do a podcast. It was totally peaceful, and they pulled up next to me. And from the moment they pulled up, their family was in chaos. Chaos, arguing, hateful words. Nobody with any care for each other. No concern for each other. Everybody really, honestly, doing their own thing. From mom down to the 4 kids. Mean. I looked at that family and I saw my old family. They, I'm sure, had no idea I was in my car. Even when I started up my car and moved it away 15 minutes later after they got here so that I could actually record this podcast, I don't believe that they had any idea, even then, that there was a person in the car right next to them. They got out of their car and they went to the lakeside. Dad's down there fishing. Apparently has a different vehicle here. One kiddo stayed down with Dad. Another kiddo gets wet. And so Mom and a couple of kiddos come back to the car screaming, yelling, cussing about, just lecturing, chastising this child who got his shoes wet. And it fits in perfectly to what we're doing today, because my opinion would be this family needs therapy. That would actually be learned experience applying to their situation. Like, you people need some help. Like, I hope you're in therapy. Do you have a good therapist? Does it matter what my opinion is? How incredibly toxic would that be for me to, in any way, shape, or form, project onto this family my views? It'd be pretty awful, wouldn't it? If I just opened my mouth, screamed out the window, get some therapy. Not only would it be inappropriate, rude, weird, truly weird, horrible, not to mention the fact that when they just drove off to go find a bathroom, because I'm now 25 feet away from them, probably, maybe even 25 yards away from them. I'm more than 25 feet. I'm about 25 yards away. They left trash, which drives me insane. Literally, they threw trash out of their car, handing things outside to one of the little kids, and the little kid just dropped it all over. So there's literally trash. I always wonder how trash gets all over pristine areas. This is how families in crisis, they're so consumed with survival that the act of littering is not even recognizable to them. Right? I saw this family and I immediately recognized this family's in crisis. They don't know it. They probably know it, but they haven't opened that door to know it yet. And there is not a damn thing I can do, because I would be sticking my nose into what? What would I even do or say here? Nothing. Nothing. I would do and say nothing, because it's not my place. when I look at that situation and I apply that forward to the people around me, right? So there's a layer of people around me who are super close. I mean, there's my best friend John, my best friend Matt, my best friend Stacy, my best friend Andy. When I take it beyond my best friends and I go to my tribe, right? You know, if you show up in all the things that we do, John and I do, you are part of that tribe. When I go beyond that tribe, right? I guess an earlier layer in there would be my children, right? My immediately, right beyond my best friends, my family, my children, truly. Then my tribe. Then you go to that outer layer of acquaintances, and then the outer layer and outer layer and outer layer, and you get way out there to people that you barely know. You've done some work with them, you know them a little bit, but people that you barely know giving you their opinion of your life. Take it one step further, people that you do know who want to control your life. Anybody pop to mind? I had about 3 people pop in my mind on that one. It has to be a hard no. No opinions, no control. When you go down those roads, you are no longer welcome. You are no longer trusted. Just like these people over here to the left of me. I will likely never see those people again in my life. But if I do and they ever ask me, if any one of those people ever asks me how I got to where I got, I will have lots of resources built up to show them how I did it. I remember my family looking similar. And I won't have it again. I have some serious work to do, my friends, around my trauma brain. Flipping my thinking and recognizing when people with their, and I'm air quoting here, good intentions are just trying to, hell, I don't even know what they're trying to do. Be mean, be abusive. I mean, honestly, you're invalidating me as a human. Well, I'm all done being invalidated. And I hope that you, my listeners, I hope that you are done being invalidated too. Nobody gets that power over you. Nobody. Never. Nobody ever gets that power over you. You are in control of your own life. Nita controls her life. Nobody else. And I'm going to continue stepping into my life and living my life to the fullest extent of its possibilities for me, not for anybody else. I really, really hope that you will take my hand and you will walk that journey with me, because you are not alone. Parents do not get that right. You don't get the right to emotionally shut down your child, no matter their age. You can't raise an obedient child and then expect an extroverted adult. I think one of the things that I have really learned and taken to heart this week is that when you really don't like something, look in the mirror first. Look in the mirror first and see, why don't you like that? What about that is bugging you? And why is it bugging you? What kind of feelings is it making you have? What are you hiding from behind your discomfort, your irritation, your anger? Well, we don't need to have those things. We just don't. We're better than that. I am going to close this out. And then I think I'm going to sit out in the fresh, beautiful Southern Oregon air with clouds, quite honestly, dancing in every direction and above me. Beautiful, gorgeous, silver, blue, shimmering, buoyant clouds. And a rippling lake and 2 happy children. And the wind blowing. And I'm going to enjoy life. You actually can see a picture of where we're at right now if you go to my Instagram page for the day before this publishes. For the 13th of June. Anyhow, I hope that you make some really healthy choices for you. I hope that you love on yourself. I hope that you are feeling happy, fulfilled, good, great, wonderful. And if you can just pick out one of those things, just one, and wrap it all around you, consider that a massive win. And go put a penny in the win jar. And if you don't have a win jar, make yourself one. It can look like anything. You can fill it with anything. But make yourself a win jar. Because wins are important, needed, and valuable. And you are worthy of the wins. So to sum it up, you are worthy of the wins. Work on recognizing other people's unsolicited opinions. Work on shutting down those opinions. Okay? Remember, one simple way to shut down somebody's unsolicited opinion was that opinion for you or for me? And if they actually say, what do you mean? There you have your answer. You can actually say, oh, that answers it. Well, you sit there with that question. You just sit there with that question, and I'm just going to go on about my day because that really doesn't concern me. Does it? Okay? Somebody else's opinions are not yours to own. Do one amazing thing for you every single day. Show up for you. Choose you. Give me a follow over on A Glimpse into the Moment. Check me out on the web. Check out whatsup.org and my business partner, sponsor, and friend, Team Sharudo on Instagram. Give them a follow. Watch what we're doing soon. We are getting our certifications under us. We are launching our coaching program and really going to be working on those connections within yourself. So watch for some special episodes talking about that. DM me anytime that you are struggling or that you are happy. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if you want to be a guest on the show. And have an amazing day. Thank you for tuning in.